Hello and welcome to Diamonds and Duds. I am Ivan.
And I'm Charles Baker. How you doing?
Today, good. Today we have episode 27, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Let's see if it's more than meets the eye.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So, I'll give a little tagline real quick. Shape-shifting robots unite to save Earth from a sinister cosmic force.
All right, and typically what I'll do is I'll look up and see what it got for Rotten Tomatoes, and I couldn't really find any good critic stuff to talk about this time. I will say that I was thrown off a little bit when I looked at Rotten Tomatoes score, because going in, and we'll see what we give it at the end, but going in, I was expecting it to be like a 5%, kind of thing, and the fans liked it 40. Okay, because I knew nothing about this going in. The critics were at 51%, which I think is probably. I didn't look at the other Transformers, but it's probably pretty good for a movie like this.
Yeah.
Fans were at 91%.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
Now, a few things, especially. So this is a seventh Transformers live action movie. However, important to note because I was curious about this and I found out. Okay, if you're a fan of the Michael Bay movies, this is not in the same continuity. Okay, this is not in the same continuity at all. Basically, this is a sequel to Bumblebee. Bumblebee. So basically, they did the 5 Michael Bay movies. Bumblebee was set in the 90s with John Cena. They started to develop it as a prequel, but along the way, they said, "Screw it. We're rebooting it. We're dumping everything Michael Bay." And in one of it's different. A lot of times the fan was like, "Oh, we like the original." Apparently, the entire fan base is like, "Good, the Michael Bay stuff was shit. It's all gone."
I didn't see too many past the original Michael Bay one, but I think the Michael Bay ones probably get hated on a little bit too much. Looking back, were they great? No, but I think they also kind of served their purpose, but weren't meant to be Shakespeare. But they really super were Michael Bay movies.
Yeah, and for the most part, I'm not a Bay guy. I stopped after the third Transformer. I did not like the Michael Bay ones. I'm also I went into this. I like Transformers, but and I watched it some as a kid, but I wasn't a huge Transformers guy. There was another. We were. I was a big G.I. Joe guy, but both of us were. But I wasn't a big Transformers guy growing up, and I pretty much hate, except for the first one. I hate the Michael Bay movies, so I kind of went in.
Here's a question for you, Charles. This is going to sound like a weird because we're brothers, guys. Yeah. Do you know why we're not Transformers people?
Yeah, Mom always got us GoBots.
Well, partly because when we were kids that grew up in the 80s, guys, is that Transformers were insanely expensive.
Yeah.
But also, they weren't like your standard, they would have 1,000 moving pieces.
Yeah.
And they were super expensive, and Mom knew for a fact we weren't going to be able to just have one to play.
Yeah.
Because early on, I had gotten 2 of them.
Okay.
I had gotten Bumblebee, and I had gotten some white car that broke instantly, and we had to return.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to be kind of picking these out of my ass, but I think Transformers probably as a kid were $40 in the 80s for one.
Yeah,
which is insane. G.I. Joes were $2.
Yeah.
And so it was
and you could load up on the G.I. Joes. Same company.
Yeah, same company has Hasbro, right?
Yep, Hasbro.
And also, by the way, if anybody's looking for a good YouTube channel, Hasbro's YouTube channel is amazing.
Okay.
They have G.I. Joe live streaming 24/7.
Oh, yeah, I watched that before. Yeah.
I wish they kind of aired the episodes in order. I think they have they only know of 15 episodes, and they just sort of play those in a random order. So you might have a Serpento one, and then you have one from season 1. Then you have the crazy shipwreck one that's probably one of the best things ever done.
Oh yeah, like the thing, like the doppelganger, the melting.
Yes, I've seen that a number of times as it goes through. That's one of the best pieces of like as a kid, it scared the shit out of you. But
but I remember that's one of the episodes that stands out to me. Obviously, the Serpentor ones with the introduction of Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes,
and then like the shipwreck one is like the random episode that just really, really sticks out to me.
Yes, and this was directed by Stephen. I think his last name's pronounced Capel. He is known probably mostly for he did the sequel to Creed.
Okay,
and he did a few other things other than that. And it looks like he did a Transformers. He did an episode of the Transformers TV series right before this too, which is probably what got him on the radar. Maybe.
Probably, yeah. So yeah. One thing to note is Transformers people. I am not very, very versed on the Transformers lore.
I am not either.
I'm going to say going in, this was, throughout watching this is the hardest movie we've done, hardest movie or show we've done in terms of me deciding where to put it. And we'll get to that through and at the end. I had a hard time for the longest time where to put it, and at the end, what decided for me is there was a 5 seconds of the movie decided it for me. Decided where it goes.
For me, it was a tale of two halves. Guys, it's about a 2-hour movie. I want to, and we'll get into it as we normally do. I would say about the first 30 to 40 minutes. The first 30 to 40 minutes, I didn't quite know what they were doing. They were kind of. I won't get too much into a lot of that, but it felt like some of the messages were kind of being forced, and this isn't a political thing, but it seems like it was kind of like some of the stuff was kind of being forced. I didn't quite know what they were doing.
Heavy-handed.
They were kind of being heavy-handed with some stuff, but then after about that 28, it completely changed after a certain point.
Yeah,
at least I felt that way.
And I'm glad you brought up the length, because the length was a key point for me for this movie. One, so it was the total 2 hours 8 minutes, but about 20 minutes were credits. I mean, this is an effect fill film, so that's not
yeah.
Okay, and so the fact that it was 1 hour and 40 minutes,
it was a perfect length for something.
Michael Bay's ones were all an hour longer. Most of those Transformers movies were at shortest 2 hours and 30 minutes, and that made me want to murder him.
Well, and also, I could be wrong. This might just be me and how it felt, but it also felt like they had less special effects than this, and it felt like it was a lot of like dragging, and it was like he didn't know how to make these movies flow right,
and he'd have racist robots.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, we open up. We're getting some background. Big Baddie Unicron. We've heard that name thrown around across really a lot of the Transformers. That's kind of like the big bad of the Transformers universe.
And people in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong. I seem to remember that being a playset back in the day. I don't know why.
Probably.
But I might be mixing a playset with something else. But Unicron sounds like some giant playset they used to have.
Yeah, because Unicron basically he's the ultimate baddie. I think he's the thing that destroyed Cybertron. And so we see the Maximals, the Beasts. A big issue I had a big issue not with the Maximals in this movie. I felt the screen time should have been greatly altered, but we'll get to. I think we should have spent a fraction of the movie with the traditional Transformers.
Yeah, and I get that. I think they probably did too much. I think what I would have preferred. See, I'm not 100% on that. Yeah. What I probably would have preferred, and we'll get to the point where they kind of introduce the Optimus and the rest of them. Yeah. I think what they probably should have had is one of them be one of the Maximals, maybe. Yeah. or what they shouldn't have had is revealed them at all until they get to Peru later, because it doesn't seem like as big of an introduction as you think, because they had the big fight at the beginning, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
Because that's also the thing that, like, I love the Peru stuff, but it didn't have as big of an impact on me as I think it could have if that was the big moment where you see them all for the first time.
Yeah. So basically, Unicron is big. It's big bad. It pretty much eats worlds and stuff. And so it's after this, basically this key, transwarp key that'll basically allow it to go anywhere in the galaxy. There's Scourge, kind of like the enslaved but happy about it. Kind of really the bad guy in this movie.
And was it Scourge?
Scourge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Maximals kind of get away with the transwarp key.
Yep. They get away with it because they have they reveal his name later, but it's Optimus Primal that goes back.
Yeah, a little on the nose, but yeah.
But I think that's what the toy was called.
No, it was. It was. And they also explain it. He said it was. The guy said it was. He named it was in honor of Optimus Prime.
And as somebody who was trying to understand the lore and doesn't know much about the lore at all. Charles, your brother was so goddamn confused at the beginning of this movie. I even, at a certain point, I stopped taking notes and simply wrote confused. Because it's because they had the two different apes or monkeys or whatever. They both look exactly alike. I couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah,
I think it was supposed to be the bigger one was the dad, the younger one was the son, kind of thing. And I think. And I appreciate this, but there's a few points where, and we'll get to some of the other ones later, where they just sort of, I think, cut out chunks of the movie that would have explained some of this shit in the purpose of shortening the time.
Yeah.
Which makes it work. But there's some parts of this movie where I'm like, wait, how'd they get here? Kind of thing. A couple points. And I think part of what it could have been written differently here at the beginning, but it's like, I was so convinced. In the end, all that mattered was getting that spark and having them go to Earth. Was all that mattered. And I think they kind of wanted to introduce them a little bit, because I think people who aren't like us and followed this as we were kids, kind of, probably have no idea. They probably assume these are Transformers like the other Transformers, and I think just a lot of that. And I think they could have gone more into. Now that I'm talking this through in my head, they probably could have gone more into this. It probably just would have muddied the waters so damn much it just confused people more.
Yeah.
And in the interest of that, they just said F it. Just yeah.
And so there is one of the issues I had is I have issues throughout this with the writing, and kind of because one thing, as we're gonna get to, they make it clear that the Maximals know Transformers, because Optimus Primal named himself after Optimus Prime. They also make it clear that the Transformers have no fucking clue who the Maximals are.
Yeah.
No damn, and you're what?
And if you can explain that to us, guys, let us know. But here's what I took to happen, Charles, and they probably should have explained this, okay? When the dad gives the key to the son to come back to go to Earth, he went back in time to Earth.
Yeah.
Because I think the Maximals, Charles, are hundreds or thousands of years after the Transformers. That's why they know about Optimus Prime and his entire history.
Oh, really?
At least that's what I took from it. Especially once they said, "Oh, we're named after you" and all that stuff. What I took it to be is that they went, because they make a point of saying that the key can time travel. So I thought
I missed that.
And I thought because they didn't. It was one of the things they just sort of they glossed over, and it could be that they didn't say that, and I thought they just did, because I thought then the monkey goes back, and my guess is that they're set, maybe it's not hundreds or that, maybe they're set sometime after.
Yeah.
Which at least that's what I took it to be.
So,
but we were way confused at the beginning.
Yeah, but so then now we go to 1994, because again, this is a direct sequel to Bumblebee, and Bumblebee took place in the 90s. Any future sequels, which they are developed, are set to take place in this timeline.
Yep, and the next one comes out December 27th, 2025.
Oh, wow. Wait, 2025? Wow.
At least that is what IMDb said.
Wow, that's like, we haven't seen trailers for that. That's concerning. So basically, we start to meet our mandatory humans in this. I will say nothing against nothing against the humans. I felt that these humans are definitely kind of stock characters. They didn't really add. There's two of them. They didn't really add much at all to the movie.
And I had a problem also where they didn't really introduce them whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell if they were going to be important characters or not important. It took me a while to realize what their names were. And part of that, if you've listened to the prior episodes, that's part on me anyway. I have trouble remembering some of that stuff. But they didn't introduce anybody very well.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought they were related.
Oh.
Until I thought they were like brother and sister or something, and it's like I got so confused about because they didn't explain any of this stuff in the beginning.
Yeah, so she's basically like an art kind of investigator. Low on the totem pole there. He has a younger brother with sickle cell anemia. Basically, he's trying to get a job, but he got drummed out of the military basically because he couldn't work well with others. It's probably a dishonorable discharge, and so he's just having a really hard time getting any kind of legit job, and he's basically going to be kind of turning to like stealing and stuff like that. And this is where they kind of. Meanwhile, the girl she finds part of the transwarp key.
Yeah, she finds the transwarp key. Because it looks like she works at. It's probably, to be honest, it's probably a real museum,
like an art museum.
It looks like it's some giant art museum in New York, probably a real place or based on a real place kind of thing. And she works in the art museum underneath it. But I think they said she was like an intern. Something like that. But they kind of position that she's the one that actually knows everything, and everybody just sort of takes the credit for her stuff. And it kind of goes into the fact that they find some stuff. They say it's hieroglyphics, but she's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. So, so basically what's going to happen here is he's going to be attempting to steal a car. At the same time, she's accidentally basically triggered and set off this key.
Yeah, and I think we skipped to because he had a job interview. The kids he has to take his brother to a job interview.
Yeah,
I think, or takes him to the hospital. He needs money to help pay for the
medical treatment.
the medical treatments for his brother, and so he has a job interview, and which they cancel his interview unbeknownst to him because, as they said, is their way of introducing that he doesn't play well with others in the army. And I don't think they explain. I won't get too much into it, but I don't think they explained it very well. And I think
and also again, this is one of the issues. I didn't think the writing was that good because. They take great care to set up the fact that he does not play well with others, which does not factor into this movie one iota.
No. And it's fine if if later they show him not working well with another but
he has no issues working with others.
No, he's amazing working well with others.
So it's got so he's attempting to steal a car, which ends up being one of our Transformers, Mirage.
Mirage, played by
I don't know,
Pete Davidson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I get it. I can get to now. She actually activates the key. This draws the Autobots and the maybe they exist in lore and they're called the Terracons. I mean, if it is, come on, people. I mean, we can be a little less lazy in the name, I guess. Terracons, Decepticons. I'm like, all right, whatever. They're bad guy robots.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so we get Bumblebee because Bumblebee. Well, first of all, he was the star of the last one. We get Optimus Prime. Now this is a very different Optimus Prime than we have seen.
This Optimus Prime is an asshole.
Yes. Now my understanding is that Optimus Prime had the tiniest of cameos in Bumblebee.
Okay.
It's about Bumblebee because I guess Bumblebee got to Earth before any of the others, and so. I get the fact that part of this is they wanted Optimus to go on a journey to get to the point by the end of the movie where he's this, working with humans guy and, save humanity. I get that that's the trajectory they wanted. Doesn't always hit for me, but I get it. My big issue with Optimus is it's kind of low key, but Optimus is kind of bloodthirsty in this movie.
He absolutely is. And I didn't look into the rating for that, but if this was PG, it was a borderline PG.
I think it was 13.
Okay, because one of the things also, and I thought it was a pretty good when the brother steals Mirage or Mirage steals him.
Yeah.
Because basically, I think the thing we skipped over as well is the fact that right before we get introduced to Optimus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we get introduced to Optimus. Elena, is that her name?
I think so.
Elena, who's the lady in the museum, is doing some studying of basically the spark or whatever's in this bird statue, and she's analyzing the statue to try and get more information on it. And she accidentally breaks it, and she's like, "Oh God, I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
I just destroyed this hundreds of thousands of year old statue." And basically what it does is it shoots this light up into the sky that the humans can't see, but that she can.
Yes.
And what that does is that then Optimus sees that and he knows that, hey, that's our way home.
Yep.
That's the thing that can get us home. And so he does the thing from the TV show, and it's probably also from the previous movies where he says Autobots.
That's his tag. That's it.
And that happens when the brother is in Mirage.
Yeah.
Because Pete Davidson, and I never thought I'd say this, but Pete Davidson's he's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, he's entertaining in this movie. I enjoyed Mirage quite a bit.
I absolutely love and I could be completely wrong, but it felt like they kind of let Pete Davidson go and do his thing, kind of thing. And so I also enjoyed for the most part, other than a couple things I'm going to talk about here in a second, the scene where Mirage is getting chased by the cops and all that stuff. Yeah. There's a couple cops that get brutally murdered.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that.
There's a really cool chase. Okay, wrong choice of words after I just said that. The chase scene itself is really well done. It's really cool. And so I enjoyed it. However, and it's good that they didn't, focus on it. But there's a couple cops that there's no way the cop didn't have a closed casket or brutally murdered.
I wrote this down. I'm like, yeah, that cop just fucking died. And also, the cops were doing very uncop-like things in the chase. They were on the freeway, they were freaking ramming Mirage. I don't think that's not procedure, people. That's not procedure. But yeah, they're the ones that that cop's fucking dead. I wrote, I like Mirage has a distinct personality. So Optimus is definitely an ass. They've been stranded on Earth for about 7 years at this point.
Yep, they've been stranded on Earth for about 7 years or so at this point. I think it's cool that it seems like they probably had Mirage take some of the Bumblebee parts because they knew Bumblebee, and we'll get to this in a second. Yeah. Bumblebee wasn't going to be in this a lot. Yep. But I think they also liked... The people liked that tone, and so I enjoyed the parts they had. What do you call Pete Davidson's they're driving, and he's like, "Yeah, did you hear that Marky Mark's leaving the Funky Bunch? He's going into acting."
That was funny.
I really enjoyed the kind of little quirk lines they put.
Yeah, that was really especially funny considering he was in. He was into the Transformer movies.
Can I do a quick side thing? We've talked off of this that the show that I've been watching on my own lately is The Rookie.
Yeah.
With Nathan Fillion, and you know who's in it also?
Who?
Pete Davidson.
Oh, okay.
Plays his half brother. The two of them together are absolutely hilarious because he basically plays Pete Davidson.
Oh, that's. So basically they start fighting Autobots. And Terracons both trying to get the key.
Yeah, basically they send the plot. The plan is to send in the brother basically to go get the key. They'll still stand away, and so what I was wondering, Charles, is that because basically he goes in and then understandably Elena's like, hey, no, is robots, and so they start obviously kind of fighting a little bit. Well, I was wondering, is a spark coming out of the top of the key, the light? You think?
I think so.
Like when they're moving it around, is the light just sort of going everywhere? And like the whole and later on in the movie, would have been easier to find the key because it's just like, hey, where's the light?
Yeah, I know, right? They didn't, and actually, I didn't think about that aspect either. But one thing they show is that basically the Terracons are kicking the crap out of the Autobots.
Yeah, the Autobots have no shot.
These are the 85 Bears, one of the best teams, considered one of the best football teams ever, against the Pop Warner team. They make a point of saying, and I'm going to get back to this, and this is one of the reasons why the writing in this movie at times was fucking shit. They make a point. They use the word invulnerable. They say the Terracons and Scourge are basically invulnerable.
Word choice matters.
Yes, they say invulnerable. Basically that they set up that these guys are basically unbeatable unless we do something. We get some kind of MacGuffin. We take away their power.
Exactly. And I assumed that meant that they were building toward doing something to...
Yeah. And then to prove that point, they kill Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Bumblebee straight up dies. And again,
brutally.
Yes. Brutally dies. And again, which will lead to me to later in the movie will come probably in bottom 5 worst things I've seen in any of these movies, concepts in anything that we've reviewed here. But I would say the action was good. And one of the things, again, compared to the Michael Bay, if it was Michael Bay, one of the things I hated about the Michael Bay movies is this action scene did not wear out its welcome.
I thought it was bad, but I thought it's not like it was a 20-minute scene like a freaking Michael Bay one.
Yeah, and again, I thought like the fighting was fine. I had no issues with the fighting. It's just, the Michael Bay versions would go to the point, okay, can we be done? And he would go another 15 minutes. And so I thought the fight scene, and all the fight scenes in this movie, I thought were pretty well done, with a few minor gripes here and there. The action and the action and the effects I did not have any kind of issues with.
No, and I think we're at the point now, and we've probably been at this point for a bit, but we're at the point now with movies like this that it doesn't, and at least to me, if it has a decent budget, it's not going to look like it's all CGI.
Yeah, and basically they make a point of saying dark energy makes Scourge invincible. They say that. It takes us 46 minutes to get an animal in Rise of the Beast past the opening thing. That's when basically the bad guys they get the key. Everyone's kind of going, oh well. Basically, they're going to use the key to bring Unicron, and Unicron's going to eat Earth. But we find out that's not the entire key.
No, that they broke it into. I think they just sort of assumed 2 pieces.
They said 2.
I know they said 2.
Yeah.
How do they know it's 2?
Well,
and not 7.
The Maximals were the ones that broke it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But Unicron said there's 2 pieces.
How does Unicron know? Yes, you're right. I gotcha.
How do they not know there's 47 pieces?
Exactly. Yes.
And obviously, I'm just sort of being a dick. But also, at this point in my notes, I wrote Optimus is a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. He's gladly willing to sacrifice Earth in order for the chance to get back home. Right now.
And I think with the point of this, and it wasn't written great, but I think the point of this, like you said in the beginning of our kind of podcast here, was that the purpose of that was kind of build up his character a bit. I don't think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Really, but I think that's what the purpose of it was.
Yeah, and when I said the bloodthirsty comment earlier, it's like the Optimus Prime. He's not Captain America. He's not Spider-Man. I should say. He's willing to kill. It's not that Optimus Prime doesn't kill. He kills. He'll kill Decepticons. He has if he needed to. But there's times where Optimus Prime in this one makes jokes about it and just is really eager in some cases, and that's not part of the character. That's just some out of character. Kind of thing was like, again, it's just like, okay, Optimus is like the only one that I know. I mean, I know who Bumblebee is just from the other movies. I know that he's a big deal, but like, okay, Optimus is the only one that I kind of know a lot about. Like, okay, this doesn't really feel like Optimus, but I mean, the fanboys can decide whether or not they have issues with that.
And basically, what drove this was that Optimus was like, yeah, I told you we shouldn't have had the fucking humans involved in this.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
We should have just gone in, killed all the people in the museum, and just taken the key.
Yeah.
It's basically what he was alluding to. But I thought the perfect point, at this point, they're like, hey, Noah, who's the brother, will you help us? He says yes, which is cool, which is, of course, you need to have human characters. But I was getting annoyed at this point, and I thought this was the perfect point. They're like, hey, the fans are going to walk out. Let's put more Pete Davidson. And so then they had that great scene with Pete Davidson and the younger brother and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so, they're going to go to Peru where the other hack is, Lana figured out, she carried her weight, she figured out where the other half is.
Yeah, and they kind of dropped that nonchalantly, but for a movie like this was kind of perfect.
Yeah, there's like a old Transformer plane. Takes them there. And then we have like... This scene almost feels like it's something that like Michael Bay would do. Is they get there and they get another Transformer that joins the team. It doesn't really do much, but this Transformer has a Spanish accent, and basically they play off like basically it's kind of like a joke at like.
I think that was meant to be at Michael Bay's expense.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
I thought that was meant to be a joke at Michael Bay's, but have it not be too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But kind of basically, because Michael Bay in one of the other movies, if I'm remembering right, and you have a much better memory for this kind of stuff than I do, but like Michael Bay had a really racist
racist towards African Americans.
Yes, in one of the previous movies. I could be wrong. For me, this felt like they're kind of like, hey, we want this person to have, we want this robot to have, since they're in South America, have a South American accent. And they're like, hey, let's address the elephant in the room because people are going to, like, hey, this is a good point to mention that.
Yeah, because basically he's kind of plays a little trick on our male hero, kind of to like, jokingly accuse him of being racist, nothing serious. And then I'm like, wait, why does one of the Transformers have a Spanish? Why does Transformers have a? But then I totally agree.
I think it's partly for that, and I think bluntly, and for me in movies like this, I tend to not take that kind of stuff too serious. But they knew exactly where the coordinates were for the what do you call it, the second part of the key thing, which I didn't quite know how they got that, but I just sort of assumed it was from the museum lady's notes, which I kind of took. But so now the plan is they need to infiltrate this festival to get in, because where they need to go is kind of right in the middle of that festival, so the two humans are going to go in disguise and go in there.
Yep. And so they go in there. At one point, Prime mentions that he wanted to take off the head. And like that sounds a bit, again, a little bloodthirsty. We see obviously the Terracons have followed them there.
And I thought the other cool thing they did, and I don't know if this was a Mirage thing back, because Mirage, Charles, was, from what I understand, and tell me if I'm wrong, from what I understand, Mirage was a pretty popular one back in the day. They just didn't, I don't think they used a whole lot in the prior movies.
Yeah.
But I thought that the fact that Mirage giving, the Noah a piece of him, I thought it was rather funny and kind of in character for Pete Davidson, the fact that he forgot to mention it was a gun.
Yeah.
And that the Noah was kind of, as they're kind of going through this, later on was kind of using it as a flashlight, but realistically could have killed people.
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, so basically, the humans are trying to do a little, Indiana Jones thing, but the key isn't there.
No.
Key's gone.
No, and the what do you call it? The Terracons, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Terracon, and I thought this was a really cool thing. I think it's off of Scourge or off one of the other ones that he has a piece of him that can kind of become a little like spider thingy.
Yeah, it's an insect.
Yeah, some sort of insect thing that I thought was really cool how they did it.
Yeah.
And so he sends that after him, and I'm assuming that can communicate right back with him. And so I think so they send that after him.
Yeah, and humans are kind of able to at times fight off this supposedly invulnerable insect guy. You know, pretty.
See, and the reason I didn't have a problem with that part is because it was just a little insect thing,
Fair,
you know, kind of thing. The problem I had is that Noah then, once he realized they were in trouble, calls for Mirage.
Yeah.
Okay. And so here's the problem I had, Charles. My main problem is that the Transformers are like, okay, the humans we sent into the festival are in trouble, okay? And so the Transformers then turn around and drive into the jungle.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they're in the festival.
Yeah.
You think they're in the festival.
Yeah.
Why are you on the highway leaving?
Yeah.
I'm like, they're going to fucking die in the festival. And so, how did... Because this is the other part where your brother got really confused. Because there's a point that they fight off that little insect thing and they get away. And it almost looks... I almost didn't know if it was like what is it, Journey to the Center of the Earth with what's his nuts? Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was meant to be something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was like some... Because they basically go into this like cavern. And I'm like, oh, is this some sort of like underground...
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if it was meant to be that. But then... Apparently, Optimus Prime and all them knew it was there. Because they just sort of drove straight to it.
Yep.
And maybe it's meant to be that, like, because what it's probably is that they're like, hey, because he has Mirage's thing, we know where he is. But you need to have a line of dialogue that tells us this.
Yes.
Because I just sort of said, F it. I'm sure it's going to be important. But it's like, I'm like... I was so frustrated.
Yeah, I agree. And so there's another fight scene. The Hawk kind of gets shot with something from Scourge that it's very clear right away that it's going to turn the Hawk into a bad guy. And then we meet the rest of the Maximals,
which they should have been. They should have been in this movie an hour before this.
Yeah, and because like Primal, obviously we get. I mean, he's a full-fledged character. Probably is one of the most. I like Primal. I really enjoyed. We get nothing on Rhinoceros. We get nothing on
because the Rhinoceros one as a kid.
Yeah.
The Rhinoceros one was one of the most popular toys.
Yeah. And I don't even know if has a line of dialogue.
No, and the other, because the other part that I wrote is that, and I know he's meant to be older, but like, isn't the plain one the strongest one of them?
Yeah.
Why isn't he participating in these fights?
Yeah.
Is it because he's so much stronger he would just destroy all of them? But yeah.
And so in this, so basically, the Hawk turns bad. Key gets taken. Scourge now has the whole key.
Scourge now has the whole key. And basically, one of the key points here that I thought was one of the things that was really well done in this is that Noah, and one of the things we forgot to mention is when they're on the plane on the way over, is that Noah basically says, hey, we have to... I think what the plot of it was that both him and Optimus were supposed to kind of look after their own kind of thing. And basically, he's like, hey, Elena, when we get the key, just give it to me. I'm going to destroy it.
Yeah.
And they have a key moment where I think it's Optimus Primal gives it to him.
Yeah.
And he has to make a decision about is he going to destroy that key.
Yeah.
And he decides. And I thought that was if they had done the part with the what do you call it, the soldier part in the beginning. If they had told that better, this would have hit so much better. Because it has nothing to do with the actor. The actor, I don't remember him from anything else, but I thought that actor did, both of them did a fine job.
Yeah.
And but I thought that it could have come across so much better. But basically they get the key. They're calling in Unicron for the final battle, basically.
Yeah, and they're gonna and also at one point, kind of during all this, Primal said something that I agree with. Primal says Optimus Prime isn't much of a leader. I'm like, I agree, Primal. But again, that's the story they're telling is that by the end, Prime's going to be the leader we all know.
Exactly.
So I mean,
right about this point, I don't remember why I wrote this, but I think this is key. Optimus Prime is a dumbass.
He is a dumbass for most of this movie. So we're getting the basic final set piece. Humans are going to, go in, a trench a la Star Wars style, and they got to enter an access code, which Atlanta has, and there's going to be a big old fight scene. The bad guys have snapped their fingers and brought a whole bunch of cannon fodder.
Yeah,
guys out, and
the thing is that whichever one of the Optimuses designed the battle, they forgot one crucial part, and it was purpose. Obviously, this was the point, but I think they just sort of assumed Scourge was going to go after them and be They thought Scourge was as stupid as they were.
Yeah,
Scourge was not. Scourge realized that I don't care if the other Terracons die. The whole point of this is to get your Unicron guy here. So I'm going to stay next to the key, and I don't think that's what the Transformers planned for.
And so, well, first of all, most of this fight's filmed well. There's some cool parts. The Terracons and the writers forget entirely about the fact that they are supposed to be invulnerable. There's nothing due to the dark energy. There's nothing that has been done. It's like, fuck it. No one's going to notice we said that.
And they didn't need to spend a half hour on doing it. Because there was a part before this battle where Optimus asks, is there anything we can do to bring back, Bumblebee? Yeah. All they needed to do was go, no, because we need to use this energy to power up for the upcoming battle, and have that be and that would have at least been enough to say they addressed it.
And there's an even easier way. They could have cut out the one line of dialogue that says they're nearly invincible due to dark energy. That's just a standalone line. All they had to do is cut out that line, and then it's just a simple thing of they got their ass kicked in the beginning, and they rallied.
The Rocky their way into
they Rocky their way to the end. That's fine. So basically, it's male guy versus Scourge, which is not good, but Mirage comes in and saves the day.
And Mirage comes in, saves, and I will say this might be that your brother, gets a bit sensitive with some of the. I will say, and granted, there's an after credit scene that kind of does some of this, which it's a kids movie, so I'm not. But I will say the Mirage dying was rather hard to watch.
Yeah, it was
because that I thought was done really, and Davidson did a pretty damn good job of a list because he was one of the few characters that they had developed well. So by the time they killed him, you cared about the fact of the character. And truthfully, what I thought they should have done there, Charles, and this would have been very un-Transformer and un-kids movie, okay? I thought they should have killed Noah there.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that Noah should have died there. But that wouldn't have... that's not the kind of movie.
And then basically, as kind of a last second act, I thought was cool is Mirage essentially turns Noah into Iron Man.
Yeah,
essentially he's Iron Man. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's interesting.
This is one of the few things in this movie they developed well because for the purpose of two different times during the movie, Mirage giving a piece of him to let him. The fact that they did that made this so we didn't question. The question. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like, hey, he's a soldier. For a movie like this, he'll figure it out.
And here, at this point, again, they said Scourge and the Terracons were nearly invulnerable. What changed? Was it that they discovered the power of friendship? I mean, that's the only thing that changed. I mean, but we're at the point, as you would imagine, where Unicron's close. He's basically here, and dark energy. And this is where we're getting to one of the worst 5 things I've seen in all the stuff we've watched for this, all 27 episodes, is the dark energy just kind of starts seeping into the world. That's fine. And you go to Bumblebee's body, which is just lifeless body in the jungle, and just this random energy starts glowing next to him. And then pretty soon we get the Bumblebee was I forget, it's a really popular '90s song. I forget what it was, and he also like quoting Roddy Piper from "They Live," the first half of the "I Came Here to Kick Ass," and obviously Bumblebee was always going to be raised.
Yeah, and
we knew that, but. Okay, this is the most ham-fisted, dumbass way possible. I don't have an issue with Bumblebee coming back. I don't have an issue with him dying. They set the stage. I just try just a little harder.
Yeah, and I have no problem with them bringing him back either, but they should have brought him back either before the battle or once they win everything. They're like, hey, now we have enough energy to bring him back.
Yeah,
so, kind of thing.
Or like if you want a surprise thing in the middle of a battle like this, set out to like, okay, they have something going to try to like charge them up. They don't know if it's going to work, but you set up the fact that like we have this set up to try to do. We just don't think there's enough dark energy and energon or whatever. And then once we see that, we know okay, that's. But just like he happened to be laying on a rock that started glowing blue. But again, okay, it was annoying, but like it's not. It was annoying. It was stupid, but whatever. But then, in the end, the Transformers, they win the, they win the day.
They win the day. The Elena from the museum knew the code, got it through. They saved everybody, and so yeah.
Yeah. So all's well that ends well. They had to break the key, basically because they were about to finish entering the code.
Oh yeah.
And Scourge destroyed the console.
Right. That's
so
right.
they destroyed the key to basically. And that was Optimus Prime's big moment of, okay, kind
of a redemption.
Yeah, getting to the point where we know he is. Where he is now, and so he destroys it. He's now kind of the Optimus that we know, and kind of all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
And so there's we see in the post credits that he rebuilt Mirage, and he's not kind of the same festive, but Mirage is back, and that's kind of cool.
Mirage is back, and I think that's fine.
Yeah. And there's one other thing, but I'm gonna mention it when we talk about our ratings.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to explain how we do the ratings?
Yeah. So there's a diamond scale. There's a dud scale. Basically, diamond is it's a good movie, and it can run from 0 to 5. 0 being all right, it's good, fine, but I'm not gonna watch it again, and 5 just being a classic. Dud is it's a bad movie, but like 0-1 is like it's unredeemable, claw my eyes out. 5 being like as it gets higher up, it's so bad it's entertaining, guilty pleasure kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I'll say before I give mine, is that I went in assuming this was going to be a dud.
Yeah,
I was assuming this was going to be a dud you never want to watch again.
Yeah,
is what I was based on the Michael Bay ones. And for me, it was a tale of two movies. It was a tale about the first 30 minutes. And I'll be honest, a lot of the holes in screenwriting and stuff, the stuff I noticed, I didn't pay too much attention to as I was watching it. And so about the last hour and 10 minutes or so, I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah.
For me, the Mirage stuff hit when he died at the moment. And so I gave it a diamond.
Uh-huh.
But I gave it a diamond for one I probably wouldn't want to watch again.
Yeah.
I gave it like a 1.5.
Yeah.
And so, and I will say the other thing is I never thought I'd say is that I saw on, on IMDb that it said the next one was coming out. I don't know if that's actually, if the next one's coming out not too long after this, I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think they're in development. But okay, so throughout the entire movie, I was really having a hard time placing. And the reason is, this movie didn't interest me very much. It's it's a fine. Most of the stuff, the pitfalls we've talked about. Again, popcorn action movie. In the end, it's not the biggest deal. Okay, so those things wasn't that big a deal. Had some good effects and stuff, but like one of the biggest draws holding me back was I'm just not a fan of the franchise. The fighting robots does not interest me.
No, we were never into that.
So I was debating Diamond versus Dud. It's probably like it's not rewatchable for me, but like I don't think it's a dud one or something. Like I don't think it's not like that bad. So in the end, I did go Diamond. Because it's not my particular interest kind of thing. I don't want to watch it again, but it's a fine enough movie.
I think sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you can finish.
It's a fine enough movie. I initially had it at a 0.5. However, the last 5 seconds raised it from a 0.5 to a 1.5 as a setup with the card. As soon as they started talking in the scene, I knew it. Basically, what do they tease, Ivan?
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. They tease a potential movie with the two of them together. Now, if they do that movie will probably suck. I don't care, but it's because of the fact that you're loving G.I. Joe. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll give it another full star.
No, I knew as kids we were huge G.I. Joe people, but I think what I'll take out of this is that for a movie like this, the special effects were well done. The script wasn't that well done, but you know what? I wasn't expecting,
Shakespeare.
I wasn't expecting an Oscar caliber script or a Stranger Things level script or something from this. So it's kind of like, if you're looking for something on Netflix to watch, and you have no idea and you didn't really, I would highly recommend watching this. Kind of thing. It was super fun.
Yeah. So. All right, so next, what are we going to be doing next time?
Next, we're going to take a little bit of a turn, because I think there's a lot of sci-fi stuff that bluntly, and this isn't from something when we were kids, but this genre is something that's been around since we were kids, and I don't want to talk for you, but I think I'm right that you've never gotten into this genre at all.
No.
And that's anime.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is go into the first 3 episodes of My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
Which is kind of, my understanding is thought of as one of the more well thought of. Yeah, obviously there's hundreds of freaking animes.
Yeah.
But it's one you can find on Netflix if you want to watch it with us ahead of time. Yeah.
And Transformers was too.
And Transformers was too. Got any ideas for us? Let us know. Follow us on all the normal stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and we appreciate you listening.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.